If there is any company in the world that is well known in the smart home market, it definitely is Aqara. There are tons of devices from Aqara, and each year we get a couple of new of them. Today we are going to look at the Hub M3 from Aqara, but also we are going to check out the Smart Video Doorbell G4. We'll start in a couple of seconds. This video is sponsored by Aqara, but nevertheless I will be looking at all the pros and cons of both M3 Hub and also G4 Doorbell. But besides that, I also have to cover one additional thing in each of my videos, especially if the product is supported, and that of course is support for the Home Assistant. So let's get started with today's first device, and that is the Aqara M3 Hub. Why would you buy M3 Hub? If, for example, you do not have already Aqara Hub, or even if you have, is it worth the upgrade? Well, to be honest, when I started with Home Assistant, the first Aqara Hub was released and I was skeptical about buying it. Later on, I went the other route, so I didn't need specific hub from the Aqara. But a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have been improved, and today we have, well, all the bells and features that you can get in a small hub. So why is this hub special and why is it better than some other hubs? Let's start with the functionality. This hub packs all. For example, do you like Zigbee? If you do like Zigbee and want to use Zigbee in your home or already have Zigbee devices, this hub of course has a Zigbee functionality. But it also features BLE functionality. On top of that, well, yes, we also have support for the Aqara Thread devices, Matter support and infrared. But infrared is actually supported in two ways. You can use it as an infrared blaster, but it also has a receiver that you can then use to train this device against your remotes. I'll be showing you today on how to add a device to this Zigbee hub, how to add a remote for your, for example, AC. In my case, this will be AC. We will be also looking at Matter support on this device, and that's pretty much it, because if I would be going any further, this video would be too long. But what else does this hub have that I was really surprised, and I didn't expect that one. So each of the hubs that I have on my desk have at least one wire. One wire means I have USB-C, usually cable, plugged in into various hubs, and there are currently around 4 or 5 hubs on my desk, each one requiring USB-C connection for the power. The next cable that some of those hubs also have is Ethernet cable, because I need to provide it with connectivity. This one is the first hub that I have seen or tested that also features PoE, and I really do prefer and love PoE devices. Why PoE? First of all, if you live in an apartment building or you live in an area that has a lot of radio interference, using Ethernet will of course improve the performance. Also, Ethernet is usually, and I say that usually it's 99%, faster and better in terms of latency, speed, etc. etc. So, by using just one cable, and that is the Ethernet cable, and providing power to the device via the Ethernet cable, you can attach it, have a stable network connection, and still be able to power this device on, which is one of the best things I have seen in any hub. In the kit you usually receive a lot of things, but sometimes you miss item or two. This one is also packed because, yes, you receive the hub, but you also receive the mounting for that hub to the wall, so you can mount it and have it somewhere in a safe location. And everything from the mounting hardware is already included in the kit, plus this faceplate too. But any device is as good as the software on it or firmware on it. And the firmware is also awesome. And on the back side of the hub you have two stickers. One sticker is HomeKit sticker, because yes, this device can also be added to the HomeKit environment, and the other sticker is used for the network compatibility. I've already mentioned the device has USB-C connection for the power, if you for example want to connect it via the Wi-Fi network, but it also has Ethernet connection with the PoE support. All around the top, so 360 degrees on the top side of the device, you have infrared, both receiver and sender. And that way you can place it in a whatever position you think you should be placing it and use it as a control for any other device in that area that features infrared remote control. In order for you to add a device, of course, press on Add New Device, and the Aqara app will try to find the new devices on the network. For that, you need to have the Wi-Fi turned on and connected to your local Wi-Fi network, and also Bluetooth needs to be enabled so that the app can try and find devices via the Bluetooth network. If the device is not detected, you can use the camera on your mobile phone to scan the code on the back side of the hub itself. The app will ask you for all the permissions if you haven't already given the permissions that are required. For the test purposes, I was using Wi-Fi connection. And then pick up from the list of available Wi-Fi connections your access point. If you have previously used Aqara app with the Wi-Fi devices, your password should be saved, and now the pairing or transfer of the credentials from the mobile phone to the hub will commence. And that's it, the device is now added. You can rename it, you can change the icon, you can change the location or room where the device is located. The next thing, of course, if it's presented to you, I would really recommend for you to do the update, because each new update fixes a lot of bugs, but it also brings on the new functionality. And also one additional thing I did out of box when I've already added the device is I went to the Matter settings, and inside Matter settings I copied the pairing code and then used that pairing code to add it in just a little bit back to Home Assistant. Because yes, as I said, this device is Matter compatible, Home Assistant is Matter compatible, so you can add this hub together with all the child devices to your Home Assistant. But that's not the only thing you can do with this device in Home Assistant. Since this is a Matter compatible device, and in order for it to Home Assistant, I had to use the Companion app. In Companion app, go to Add Integrations, click on Add Matter Device, select New Matter Device, and then either scan the QR code, which is really hard to do because the QR code is on the same screen as the Companion app, or just copy and paste the pairing code. And it really took only a couple of seconds for the device to be recognized and added back to Home Assistant. And that's it, we now have Hub inside Home Assistant. But of course, having just a hub inside Home Assistant is not much, because we also need to add child devices. What are child devices? Child devices are either end devices or routers on the Zigbee network that can then be also available via the Matter. But while I was already there in the mobile app, I also seen that the HomeKit integration has found out that I have also Aqara Hub. So let's try also adding it to Home Assistant via the HomeKit integration. The process once again is also very simple. You select the device that was auto-detected, input the pairing code that is located on the back side of the device itself or on the back side of the hub itself, click on Submit, and that's it. Now we also have the same hub inside Home Assistant, not just via the Matter integration, but also via the HomeKit integration. Depending on what's your flavor, depending on what you like more, you can go for either one or the other. There is really no need for you to have this device in both ecosystems, Matter and HomeKit, because you will be just duplicating the devices. So for example, if you have motion sensor, if you have door window sensor on the hub itself as a child device, it would be exposed as a child device on the Matter network, but it would also be exposed as a child device on the HomeKit integration. So you would have the same door window sensor or motion sensor in two places, and we actually do not need that. But I also mentioned that I want to show you how to add child devices, and there are a lot of child devices, again, that are products from Aqara. And in my case, these are the two devices I'll be testing. One is door window sensor and the other one is the old original motion sensor. And simply go inside the app, click on Zigbee Child Devices, click on Add Device, and then you can either select device from the list, or you can start the pairing process and then wait for the system to locate the device. But besides just Zigbee devices, as I said, we can also add remotes, and the database for the remotes is already very extensive. So in my case, I've selected my Mitsubishi Electric AC, then I pointed the remote to this device, turned it on, increased the temperature, and the device was recognized. After that, I was presented with option to test one of the three settings, but the first setting was working for me. Here you can press the buttons and test the functionality. So you can turn the device on, start the cooling, air swing, temperature increase or decrease, and also turn off. If you test those 6 buttons and all work out great for you, that means that the remote you have has been matched with the remote from the database. On the other hand, if one of the buttons doesn't work, you have option to scroll to the next set of the commands or icons and try them to see if they work better for you. Since everything worked the first time for me, I then pressed next and the library was downloaded. That means that I can also now record via the Aqara, also my AC. And why is that good? For example, let's consider this use case. You have AC and the remote has been added to the Aqara Hub. You have door sensor that knows when the door is open and closed. You have Aqara doorbell that can detect when somebody has approached the door or not, and for example you also have Aqara lock. So it looks like this. For example, the doorbell has recognized your face, and we will be talking about in just a couple of moments. And since it has recognized the face, it can auto unlock the door. Or if you don't like systems like that, it can send you notification that person that is already in the database has been recognized. Then, if for example this is your kid or somebody else, you can unlock the door. The sensor will read that the door is unlocked, and if for example that is your kid, you can also automatically start the AC. On the other hand, if everybody leaves the home, there is no motion on the motion sensors, the door is locked, the AC could be turned automatically off. So there are a lot of things that you can do if you look at overall system from the Aqara. And as I said, they do have already a lot of products, and that means that it would not be too hard for you to match one device with the other for the purposes that you want to use them inside your smart home. I did previously show, but I didn't talk about the Edge Hub. And this M3 Hub is actually Edge Hub. What does Edge Hub mean? That means that you can have multiple hubs if, for example, you live in a large house or you have too many devices. You, for example, have M2 hub, which is an old hub, or two M2 hubs, and then you can connect both of those hubs back to M3. All the devices that are available on all the hubs will also be available on the Hub M3. But that's not all. There is also migration path, and I know that people hate when they are working with the Zigbee if you, for example, change hub, or in terms of Home Assistant, if you replace your coordinator with a new coordinator, sometimes the backup doesn't work and you have to manually add devices. That's great if you have 5 devices, but for people like me that have 50, 80, 100 plus Zigbee devices, that can really be a pain. So there is a migration path. If you, for example, are currently using Hub M2, you can select that you want to migrate all devices from M2 to M3. Yet another doorbell, smart doorbell on the market, and this time it's Aqara G4. But is there actually anything special that makes a big difference between this doorbell, previous doorbells, or any other doorbell that is currently on the market? To be honest, I was a bit skeptical because I've seen my share of doorbells and I wasn't once again expecting anything that would be out of ordinary or anything that would be special that would really tickle my imagination. And I was once again surprised. Same as with Hub, this one also packs a lot of things that are actually not seen at first but will make your life much easier. So let's get through the specs. There are some things that are common between this doorbell and any other doorbell on the market. For example, a lot of them have also indoor chime. But what is different between this chime and also chimes from other manufacturers? Well, first of all, this chime is smart chime. In fact, the core of the system is this chime. When you're adding this device or doorbell to your network, chime is actually the first thing you need to set up, because this chime is also a repeater. So what you do when you get everything out of the box? You unpack it, of course, you plug in the USB-C cable into this device, and then you add this device to your Aqara app. This device is, as I said, repeater. In order for you to get image from camera to your app, you need to have this chime connected. Then there is a question about the storage. You receive 7 days of free cloud storage. Yes, you can purchase further cloud storage if you want, but you don't need to do that. Especially if you, for example, stick in the SD card inside chime. Yes, there is a slot for SD card inside the chime, not the doorbell itself. And that means that even if somebody steals your doorbell, you will still have image of the person who did it. But besides that, we also have ability to connect this doorbell to your local NAS storage. In my case, this is Synology. If I want, I can put all of the recordings directly on NAS with the unlimited capacity. Not that it's unlimited, but I currently have around 12-14 terabytes of free space. And that's a lot of door footage that I can have on my storage. But let's also mention some other functionality: face recognition. And I'm not talking here about person or people detection. No, this is of course also available, but here I'm talking about specific person detection. For example, in my case, I was able to train this on my face. So each time I approach the doorbell, the camera sees me and it recognizes me and it tags all the images with me with my name. That way you can also use, as I mentioned previously, this as a part of overall home automation. For example, if the camera sees me in front of the front door, it can trigger the home automation routines in such a way that the home is customized to my preferences in terms of lights, colors, etc. etc. Also, there are two options for powering this device. First option is to use the included batteries, 6 AAA batteries. I haven't had this device for that long, so I cannot tell you if the batteries really last 4 months or more or less. But even if you do not want to use the batteries, there is still option to power it via the transformer. And that way the batteries will be used as a backup power in case of power failure, but the device will be primarily powered via the DC power. And that is an awesome way because with that you also get additional functionality. As the batteries do not last forever, there are a couple of ways on how to conserve the battery life. The camera itself is 1080p with a field of view of 162 degrees, which is okay for most of the installations. And as I mentioned, the face recognition, yes, that one is also done locally, so AI is not processed in the cloud, this is only stored on your local network or local devices. So yeah, you unbox everything, you will find everything needed to install this doorbell on your frame of the door. Unfortunately, for my testing purposes, I wasn't able to install it there, I had to install it directly on the door. And because of that, each time you open or close the door, the field of view of the camera also moves, so I also had to turn off loitering functionality. So I cannot record if somebody is trying to damage or do something in front of my apartment. I can only do face recognition, people recognition, and also record when somebody actually hit the bell, to actually ring the bell. As I said, after you get everything out of the box, after you connect power to the chime itself, it's time to position it somewhere. It needs to be somewhere where you have a good Wi-Fi reception, but also not too far from the door, because it needs to have connectivity with the doorbell itself. In the Aqara app, once again click on the plus sign, add new device. The device will either pop up, or of course you can also search for it or use the barcode scanner to scan the barcode on the device itself. I've used the search functionality to add it. Then you need to press and hold the button to start the pairing process. Select the device from the list from the devices you want to add, search for your Wi-Fi or select it from the drop-down list, and then more or less that's it. The system should automatically do whatever it needs to do. That means connect to the device, transfer your credentials, and that should be it. If you want, you can change the icon, name of the device, select an area, and device has been added. But as I said, we have so far added only the chime. Next thing that we need to do is, of course, install physical installation of the doorbell itself. There is double-sided adhesive tape on the back side, plus you can also use other mounting options, and everything is included in the kit itself. When you press the doorbell, the notification will pop up and yeah, you will get the image or video of the person that is in front of your front door. If you want, you can use two-way audio to talk to the person, and there are also options to mask your voice. You can select the resolution, you can increase the size, mute the camera, etc. etc. Plus, of course, you have options where you can select or customize a couple of options. These options are doorbell signal, where you can check the quality of the signal or see how you can improve the setting. Doorbell setting, where you can select the work mode, should it be power saving mode, which will extend the battery life but will lose the functionality. Should the indicator light be turned on, off, select language, device volume, SD card storage, where you can insert and then format and see the storage you have. You can select, as I said, ringtone, increase or decrease volume, etc. etc. If you want, you can also select privacy occlusion area. For example, tint or select area that you do not want to be visible during the recording. You can select detection options. There is face, loitering, doorbell rings, and temporal alarm. For each of them, you can turn them on and off and then set also push or record notifications. Also, you can select duration of stay, sensitivity, detection period, and detection frequency. If there are any faces that have been detected, you can use face management part of the UI to select that face and give it a name. Next time the system sees that face, recognizes it, it will auto tag that entry into the log with the name of the person that was detected. These were the facts, what I've seen, what I've tested, what the Aqara is telling us about its hub and also its doorbell. But how they are actually performing in the real life? Well, let's check that one out, but through Home Assistant. I do have a lot of Aqara devices, but in this list you can also see we have Aqara Hub and also Aqara Hub here. This is done through the Matter integration and this one is done through HomeKit integration. If we click on Aqara Hub M3, we can see that we have here information about the hub itself, firmware, hardware revision, serial number, and we also have connected devices. Through the hub itself, via the Matter integration, we also have sub-devices or child devices, and this one is occupancy sensor that I was testing. We have information about battery, voltage, and also state of the occupancy. If we go one step back and click on the same hub, but through HomeKit integration, we see that we have information about the security system. Yes, this hub can be used as a security system because it also features inside siren that can be used as a siren for your alarm. We have information about the security system, pairing mode is currently off, and once again we have connected devices. So even through HomeKit integration, we can still see child devices from Aqara M3 Hub inside Home Assistant. But what about doorbell? Yes, with the HomeKit integration, because this device is compatible with the Apple HomeKit, but also Amazon ecosystem, Google ecosystem, and in the future this will also be compatible with the Matter, so we will be able to push this device via the Matter standard. Unfortunately, it is still not available, but that's no problem because this can be fixed later on with the firmware update. If we click on the device in a HomeKit integration, remember this is a doorbell, so at least we should see if the doorbell is pressed or not. But no, actually there are more things that we can do with this integration. We can see the state of the camera, and yes, this is camera, where we can see the live image currently being recorded or broadcasted from the doorbell to our Aqara ecosystem and then through HomeKit integration back to our Home Assistant. Then we have information about the motion sensor. You can see all of the motions that were detected by the camera. Then we have events. This is actual press on the button. If we would press the button, this would be triggered. So we can use this inside Home Assistant as a trigger if somebody is at front door and then pop up this camera feed on our desktop or for example send it to our TV. We can mute the device and we also have information about the state of the battery, 100%. If you are looking for a hub, don't forget to check out the Aqara Hub M3. It is currently the most feature-packed hub that I've seen on the market, and the only thing actually missing in that hub is Z-Wave or support for the Z-Wave protocol. Everything else can be done by the hub, and yes, it also fits nicely in any smart home system currently available on the market, plus of course our favorite Home Assistant as an open source solution. Same goes or similar thing applies also to the doorbell. The only downside I currently see for this doorbell is that it is not supporting Matter. But Aqara is promising us that the Matter support will be arriving in future firmware updates. So let's trust them on that one and consider this one as an excellent option if you are looking to smarten up your front door or back porch or wherever you can install this device. And once again, if you are using Home Assistant but also other smart home ecosystems, there are ways on how to integrate this device in most of them. The link to Hub M3 and also Smart Video Doorbell G4 will be down in a video description below. So don't forget to check the links to the devices and also to Amazon store because currently there are some special deals. And discount codes and links to that special deals will be down in a video description below. I really do hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me, but it also helps with the YouTube algorithms. If you have any kind of a comment on these Aqara products or any other devices, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will do my best to reply on them as soon as possible. And before I wrap up the video, I would like to say thanks to all those wonderful people that are supporting me and that have become YouTube channel members. Thank you all for all of your support. But let's not forget each and every one of you who has watched, liked, shared or commented on my videos. If you too want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button down below and becoming a YouTube channel member for only €2 or $2 per month. Or you can go to my merchandise store and get something there. Last but not least, you can always send me super thanks, and I will be super thankful for that. I will be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.